Do the hippie hippie shake, but keep your hands to yourself. Mauro Magellan from the late 80s era of the Georgia Satellites is with us today on the Music Universe podcast. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
I drive you crazy, don't I?
Very much so, yes. Very much so.
I was literally, give me the thing, because I realized Georgia Satellites had a live album coming out at the last possible second, but we got this organized. We're a week late. You heard our long Vegas wrap. Now we're going to talk about Lightning in a Bottle, the Georgia Satellites live album that came out exactly a week ago on March 11th. Really, really cool mix of covers and originals. Of course, known for Keep Your Hands to Yourself, Hippie Hippie Shake. And you were like, why the heck are you being so about this one?
Hold on. We're going to back it up for a second. So it's kind of funny that I was practicing with my new drum kit.
Yes, you were.
And somebody got a little impatient and was blowing up my phone to the point that I was going to explode because I didn't want to be bothered at 8 o'clock Pacific time, PM, 11 p.m. your time, when I'm trying to drum. And you were blowing up my phone, and I don't know.
The reason why was because, hey, can I have this contact info? Drums. I'm like, what does that mean?
Most idiots would understand that means I'm drumming, leave me the hell alone. But in your case, it just infuriated you, then you infuriated me. I think we just spent too much time together over the last month. And
it's funny, you were talking about one-handed drumming. So I'm like trying to picture you one-handed drumming while getting the email, but you're like, no, I got to go to the kids. So anyway, it all worked out because we have a drummer today.
Yes.
And I was a few minutes late hopping on here. So you get to have a drum conversation with a drummer. So, it all worked out for you.
Well, it did, but just the impatientness on your part was not persistent. It was just annoying, obnoxious, irritating. I could go on. Should I, or shall we move on?
Well, I threatened to have your family come knock on your door and be like, get him this email. Why are you ignoring him?
I had told them, don't bother me when I'm drumming, unless it's an emergency.
Well, somebody go knock on his door. I was ready to send it. And then you're like, I'm done drumming. Well, what it was is it was so late that, like I said, I wanted to get this out to try to do this as we're recording this yesterday, the 10th, to put it up on today, the 11th. But again, the day that you're seeing this, the first day you're seeing this is a week later. So it all worked out. A really cool album. I can't wait to take a listen to it. The reason I got so excited is this is going way. We're talking over 20 years for me, and I'm only 27. Way back for me, because Georgia Satellites did a version of the English hit Hippie Hippie Shake. And because I am, as you coined me and we talked about in our Vegas podcast, I am naturally injured. One of the things that was thought to be good for my coordination was I was to take a dance class. It was a very interesting time. Little 5-6-year-old me taking a dance class. The end of the class, we had a recital at some school auditorium. And one of the numbers was Hippie Hippie Shake. And I had a little bit of a solo, just a tiny little bit of a solo as the only guy in my troupe. And I had I think it was like a red sequin vest, a red shirt. I remember seeing, I don't remember this as a kid. I remember seeing pictures and video of this, but I'm literally doing like one of these for Hippie Hippie Shake as a cute little kid. And so I was like, oh my God, we have to do this. So that's why I got so excited. And of course, it's great to have, we didn't talk about this too much in the interview, but what I really think is an underappreciated band release a live album.
It's their first official one throughout their whole career, and it stems from a Cleveland performance in 1988. So this dates back, pretty far there, and a lot of great, like you said, mix of originals and covers. And we discussed that to some degree with Mauro as well.
I know he wasn't the original drummer, but I would argue that he was a drummer the drummer during the height of their popularity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. You asked about the Garth effect on Keep Your Hands to Yourself and what that might have done, but I think during the height of their touring careers when Mauro was the drummer. So it was really cool to hear his stories. We'll stop blathering on. The album's called Lightning in a Bottle, and here's Mauro talking about it. What a great interview we have for you today. Mauro Magellan with Georgia Satellites, the new live album, Lightning in a Bottle. How are you, sir?
I am well, thank you.
Well, thank you for being here. The new album is out as we speak. So excited. I haven't had to listen to it yet because I woke up and the album came out, and then I had 20 minutes to jump on here, and we're doing this. I'm looking at this set list on this album. It's
nice.
Just amazing.
I haven't opened it yet.
Really?
No, I did. I have another one. And the first thing, there's some songs here, like Down and Down, that I completely forgot about.
Right. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Why? The question is, why now? Georgia Satellites has had such an amazing career. Why 2022 to release your first live album?
That puzzled me as well, but that's a good idea. We needed this.
Yeah.
No, why now? I don't know.
Was it something that you guys forgot about and then just rediscovered recently?
I think it was Steve Popovich who decided he wanted to do this with Warner Brothers. I think that's what I'm assuming, because this started last year, and I had to do the drawing for the album. I had to draw the ticket type picture because nobody had a high-res version of it, so they forced me to draw it. And I think it was him. It was Steve Popovich that I was in touch with the whole time, and going through the set list. And he sent me clips to see if it was okay. And it's the Satellites. I mean, what else? It's loud, it's driving, it's immature, it's great.
I
White
love
knuckles,
Yeah.
Love it. What years are the shows from? Do you know?
I believe it was 87.
Wow.
Yeah. You may be born then. I don't know.
Peabody's in Cleveland in 88.
88. Okay.
Yeah, 88.
Yeah.
So 33 years ago.
Good God.
Yeah, and it's actually CD digitally, and then vinyl's been back for a while, but a 2 LP, 180 gram on black, and then limited edition Red Smoke. That's coming out later this summer in July.
I hope I get one.
Yeah, so I was going to ask, do you guys have any say in like the color variations of vinyl and how this is presented?
We have more variations on the photographs, and that was really an issue. As you can see, my face is not really showing in these pictures because I couldn't give a rat's ass. I'm a drummer. Show the drum set. That's all they need to know.
Right.
Oh my
Everybody,
God.
well, I don't like this picture. I don't like that picture. Okay. But it's, they're the front guys. They're out there. I'm behind a bunch of cymbals and drums. So for me, it doesn't matter.
And that's okay. That's where you're comfortable.
Yeah. I don't, either way, I'm comfortable. I'm just, when it comes to these things, decisions with a bunch of guys, I make a real quick decision and just whatever. I don't care. If I did care, I would. I mean, there has been some photographs which, at least with Homemade Sin anyway, that were like, oh my God, I look like a death warmed over. No. But that's on extreme cases. The satellite pictures were all okay by me.
Yeah,
I love it.
What can you remember from this specific show, if anything? The band being on stage, the crowd roaring, all of that. Is that something that is forever embedded
honestly,
in your mind?
no. I wasn't high or anything. I didn't do drugs or anything. It's just during that era we played all the time, and they were all fun. The fans were always there, especially the smaller shows like the Peabody. Those we look forward to because we could throw away the set list. We could have more fun. And if you notice, Rick Price sang a lot more. It was just a lot, we could do a lot more.
Love it.
And we cared less. So we played like we always played, like we were in a bar.
Is there a favorite song on that set list, or maybe it's a song you didn't get to do that much, that was a favorite for yours to drum? That is just where you get to go hog wild?
You know, I don't think Every Picture Tells a Story is on this one. And that was one of my favorite songs to play. The Rod Stewart song.
Yes.
I love that version we did on the first album. You know, it's really good. And I don't think it's on here. Boy, this is a dark album.
You know, I haven't had a chance to listen to it either, but you know, Keep Your Hands to Yourself is paired with It's Only Rock and Roll. What,
that was always fun. And we didn't do that all the time. Sometimes it was another song, you know, but we went through an era where we did that. And that must have been that era. And then we stopped doing it. And that was an occasional thing. And there were other songs Dan would throw in. And Dan, that was the Dan. Dan sometimes would throw in a Ramones song, you know, or a Rolling Stone song, depending on the key and what it is. And that was always fun, always a surprise.
Yeah, because it closes with I Want to Be Sedated into Shake,
Oh, really?
Rattle, and Roll.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's got those two paired together. I Want to Be Sedated and Shake, Rattle, and Roll. So that sounds like it's just a fun set list.
It's a blast. And it's different. It's not always that one. You know, it's different every time.
How were those decisions made? Like where?
Dan, no, there's no meeting, nothing. Dan just pulled him out there. Dan just started it.
That's awesome. You know, it's rare that you find a group or an artist that is as free with their concerts as you are. You know, you say throw the set list out. Yeah.
And there was a danger of crashing and burning. And you know, sometimes a song would crash and burn, but we got out of it. We were good at it. Rick Richards would sometimes start a song that was like we used to do a Thunderclap Newman song that Rick Richards just started playing at Soundcheck when we were touring with Petty, and Petty fell in love with it, and a couple of others. And Petty took them and recorded them. He asked Rick, "Hey, can I record that?" And Rick goes, "Yeah, I ain't gonna record it." Because Rick and Dan kind of objected. What a great song. You should actually record it. And he did a great version of it. We used to do a 6/8 blues style version of Sonny Bono and Cher. I Got You, Babe. That Rick Richards just threw out. And it had, it was just great. And we did that rarely. But every time we did it, it was great. We used to do, Dan would throw out sometimes Long Black Veil.
Yep.
You know.
Did you ever start any songs and then they start freaking out because they couldn't tell what song it was?
Yeah, because the beats were pretty much all the same. So I didn't really start a lot of songs.
I mean, you could start Keep Your Hands to Yourself and they could probably figure it out.
Yeah. But you know, I might have. No, I didn't. I might have. I might have started, let's say, the Don't Pass Me By. Just started playing that, but they could come in with anything. And it was kind of an unorganized, but very tight. It felt rehearsed, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, we played bars before we started doing these concerts. We were playing 6 nights a week. And when we played out of Atlanta, we couldn't get arrested. And I have an old live tape of us playing in Athens. And Dan is doing Keep Your Hands, but before he does it, we do the quiet part, and he explains to them. I say, and you know, don't give me no lines. And you guys say, keep your hands to yourself. Which, as of course, when the song got popular, you didn't have to do that. But it was funny to make him explain the song.
There's a song on here that I have a history with as a small child. I'll go into later on. But you talk about Georgia Satellites being fun, being immature, and I don't think there's a song that encapsulates that more than Hippie Hippie Shake. I mean, you hear that title, you hear that lyric, you just, I know it's a funny word, but you just giggle. I mean,
Yeah.
it is such a silly, silly song. What is the history with Hippie Hippie Shake?
Well, it was an old hit a long time ago.
Mhm.
It came out of Britain, and Disney decided to put it in the cocktail. So they thought we would do a good job with it. And we went into the studio. It was my wife's birthday. We went, it was in Atlanta, and Brendan O'Brien produced it. He got his first big producing job there.
Mhm.
And we had to look at a teleprompter, and we had to play Hippie Hippie Shake like the record. And the cool part about it is the drummer was rushing and dragging throughout the song, and I had to follow him. And then we had to follow the ending. And the reason they had to get it re-recorded is to get that ending when where Tom Cruise slams the cup down on the bar.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting. And that's why they did it. It was Disney's fault.
Oh, but it became one of your most well-known songs.
I know. And I say, thank goodness for Disney.
Yeah, really.
In fact, I'm
I
taking my family to Disney World in September. And boy, any money they paid me, I'm paying them back.
yeah, you will.
Oh,
Now, how come you guys had to duplicate it exactly and follow the dragging and rushing?
Well, because it had to be in time with the bartenders. And
Oh,
they filmed it already with the original version.
Oh, I see.
So we had to duplicate it. And that was okay. I mean, the Russian dragging kind of made sense. You know, certain songs,
Yeah.
you kind of want to elevate and then bring
Uh-huh.
it back down. Sometimes a click track. And then back in the old days, they didn't do click track because, you know,
Right.
they actually had to do rehearsals and play and
Yeah.
know the songs.
I was just going to ask what the band was doing to celebrate the release of the album.
Gosh, you know, I don't know. I spoke to Rick a little while ago, Rick Richards, a couple of days
Mhm.
ago. And I have to call Dan because he's got one of my drum sets that I left over there. And I got to go pick them up. And I have to drive to Nashville to go pick them up.
oh my
wow.
gosh.
The only reason I'm going to go, I can ask Dan if he's doing anything. I'm just happy it's done. And I'm not much of a drinker, so I'm not going to. But I am going to. I'm going to play this weekend at a bar in Belleville, Iowa. And it used to be a music store. And it's kind of a cool little place in a river town. It's right by the Mississippi River.
Mhm.
And I'm going to announce it there. And maybe we can all have a drink there.
I love
There you
it.
go. There you go.
Will Georgia Satellites be touring this year?
I doubt it. No, not with the original members. Right now, I believe Rick is the only original member.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know.
Love to see you all reunite. Would love to
That would
see
be
that.
good. I'm friends with everybody, so it's not up to me, you know.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And then
Well,
you,
Like I said, I'm easy when it comes to getting along with people because
yeah.
life's too short.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you were telling me before we got on here that you're doing some recording for some did you say children's books?
Yeah, I do a lot of children's books. I've been writing children's books and illustrating since I was in the, you know, early 20s.
Oh
It's
wow.
not a new thing for me. It's like it seems like everybody who's got a kid now is, oh, I'm writing a children's book. I'm like, oh, great. All these famous people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do children's books and I illustrate them. And I do musicals, and I'm working on a musical now. And those guys always help me. Dan always helps me with a guitar part or two. And Warner Hodges always helps me. I've got other musicians I work with.
Mhm.
They help me. I got some great jazz horn players that come into my studio, and it's all real instruments. I don't do any clip art music. Everything's played by a human.
I have to clap for that because there's just so many that as a drummer myself, it drives me nuts that you have to program stuff. You have to play along with a click in order to make sure everything matches with each other. Like if I'm playing live, I just want to have fun. And having fun to me is not having that thing in your ear, keeping the whole band together. It's got to be loose in some aspects. I personally feel.
And, I like that too. Although we did do a click when we did the Homemade Sin album, but they wouldn't let me do more than 2 or 3 takes. And it was reading charts.
Oh, geez.
And if you listen to the last Homemade Sin album, that's me and Dan, by the way, me, Dan, Warner, you can see the white knuckle in the drumming. You can hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like, oh, that's a really good studio drummer. Oh, no, it sounds like a 13-year-old trying to play. That's what they wanted. Warner would say, and Dan, was it technically perfect, perfectly boring?
There you go. And in the studio, I totally understand the click thing, but when you have to duplicate the studio live is kind of what I was.
Oh, no way. That's impossible. Yeah. That is the worst. Yeah, I refuse that too. You know what else I refused? Is the sneeze guard.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
the plastic thing.
I'm a snob towards that. Yeah. So many places you see it, and it's like it's supposed to be loud and bombastic.
I'm sorry, stage. I won't play with a sneeze guard. I'm not some kind of salad bar.
It's funny because we saw Reba Brooks and Dunn in Las Vegas, and their drummer had the most minimalist kit. No sneeze guard, nothing, but just like, what was it? A snare, a tom, and a bass, and a couple of cymbals.
A floor tom too,
yeah, floor tom, and like a couple of cymbals, and that was it. And
I love it.
The sounds that came out of that, I'm like, how in the hell is that guy doing all of that with just that?
And you can. It's harder. I played in this rock band that I had, and I had three toms on top here, 3 fret. And I found how much easier it is to play with all those drums. You have so many choices. It really is easier. But I didn't feel right for my style. So I just have the one up, one down. And a couple of gigs I just do with one crash, which is a lot harder because when you're at the floor tom, you've got to come all the way back out.
Yeah.
But to me, it just looks so cool to have that minimalist and pull it off beautifully. It's a challenge, and I love that.
Yeah, I had a drum teacher once tell me that if I owned the part, I would find a spot on the kit. I'm like, yeah, I'm about bigger and better. Now, it doesn't always translate, like you said, you got to kind of adjust, but it's just fun to have a big kit back there and then just have your way with it.
He just got an electric kit and he already wants to add 2 more pieces to it.
4. It can expand to 4.
It's a free country.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it. So this children's project, where can we find it, and is it out, or when will it come out?
No, I've got 2 book 1 and book 2 out already. It's out with Mick Brown, and it's out on Amazon. The publisher has that, and the books come with a download. You can download with a QR code, and I sold a lot more in Europe than here. But I used to have it on my website, but I don't have that site anymore because I'm so tired of computers.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go as analog as I can in my life.
So that leaves me with the question of, do you record analog or digitally now?
Oh, no, I don't have all that. That's just way too expensive.
Yeah.
And I have Pro Tools. Yeah. But what I do is I'm doing some guitar parts, and probably driving my wife crazy, practicing it over and over again.
Yeah.
So I don't have to do clip and change, so I can actually play it. Now, on the second children's record, there was a drum solo at the end. I couldn't clip, 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 chop, chop. It had to be, the whole song had to be done on one, on a take. And then, Pro Tools, you can easily punch in anywhere. So that's why but my guitar parts, I did clip back and forth because I'm not that good. Of course, the real guitar players didn't. But I have to have a basic to give them to start with. And it's fantastic. I love recording and writing these children. And by the way, it's suitable for adults.
Great.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
didn't, not good children's records, really. They're probably better adult records.
Well, and you're also one man trying to run a Pro Tools setup and play drums, so it's got to be difficult to punch in to begin with, let alone
Oh,
trying
that's
to.
not with Pro Tools? Oh, with that quick punch? No, not at all. I have my keyboard right here. It is kind of crowded because I have to have my piano behind me and
Mhm.
my amps so I can control it and record, but no, it's not that bad. Except if you have a Hammond organ, there's a problem. I
Yeah.
hired a Hammond player who's also an engineer
Uh-huh.
in Nashville, and it was funny because he had to hit record and then run to the other room to the Hammond. He said
Yeah.
it took him a few times
That's funny.
to
Pretty
get
massive.
Time it
right.
out. Beat one,
Yeah.
2, 3,
Yeah.
run.
Right.
Don't they have a remote? I thought I've
Yes,
seen
they
that
do.
they have a
They
remote.
do. I didn't hook it up. I try to do things as simply as possible. Like my
Yeah.
amps, I don't have any effects. I do that in Pro Tools. I just have it plugged to the amp. And Rick Richards, that's how he plays. He doesn't have any pedals.
Mhm.
I find that fascinating that he just plugs it in and
Yeah.
he gets that sound. He just had a carpal tunnel operations. So he's
Wow.
recovering. He won't be able to really play until autumn.
Yeah. Well, I've got one more question, and
Yes,
it's related to you guys, of course, but I wanted to know, I first became familiar with your music. I was born in the 80s, so I first became familiar with your music in 92. Garth Brooks closed his first ever TV special with Keep Your Hands to Yourself, and I
Oh,
just
yeah.
fell in love with the song. Were you guys involved in like that decision of him doing that, and what did that
Yeah.
do for you guys?
It doesn't do much for me, but it does a lot for Dan Baird. It keeps him from having to get a real job.
Well,
I
you
was
were
lucky. I had my own graphic business. My own guy. I did artwork for all sorts of people all over the country,
Oh, wow.
even
wow.
cheese labels in Wisconsin. I did a bunch for California.
Oh, so that's
mainly.
kind of like your first love there.
No, my first love is definitely music.
Drums,
The art and design work is out of necessity.
Oh, wow.
The beauty of it is you can work. All my books were done on the road,
Yeah.
by the
Mhm.
way, because
Very.
you're in a damn van or bus for the airport.
Yeah.
I got busy.
Yeah.
I wasn't bored.
I love it.
Got to stay busy for sure.
Love it.
But the satellites, we used to play at Hedgens every
Mhm.
Monday night, and that's where most of the songs developed. And they were my favorite band before I joined them. I would go every Monday night to listen to them.
Mhm.
And when I joined them, the cool thing about it was Dan wrote these songs, and I didn't know if they were Chuck Berry songs or Dan songs or Lefty Frizzell. I didn't know anything. You know what I mean? I was in a
Mhm.
new wave band. I was in the Brains, and I even had the haircut and all that. That was
That's
kind of cool,
amazing.
but it was so good to be in a band that the songs, to me, all sounded legitimate, like real
Yeah.
songs.
I
I
love
was
it.
really
There's
happy
some-
in that band.
Very
Love it.
classic songs, very classic riffs, and
Mhm.
great music. And hopefully at some point you guys will take it back on the road, and who knows what
I wish
can
we
come of
could. It,
that.
it all depends on the other guys.
Yeah.
I'm real healthy. I'm real active. I'm playing all the time.
Mhm.
I'm there.
I
It
love
really
it.
depends, and I respect their decisions or their feelings. It's just, okay. They're grown men. They can do, like I always say, it's a free country. They can do what they want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the live album is called Lightning in a Bottle. And let me tell you, from what we've been talking about here today, it really looks like they captured it. This is awesome. Mauro Magellan, thank you so much. This was really, really fun. Thank you.
It was
Really
a
enjoyed
blast.
it.
Thank you, Matt.
It's always great when we can have a variety of guests, and
Mhm.
I love having drummers on. We've had several on already, and we just have that connect. And he, as you heard there, has 30 drum kits,
Mhm.
man, and that's trimmed down from like 47 or something. He said I love it, and he's doing a lot of neat stuff. He's staying busy with
Mhm.
being artistic in multiple ways, and recording in his own studio, and looking forward to what he's putting out.
Yeah, and I love when we have drummers on too, because I get to just sit here. I get to just sit here and you go ahead. You know what you're talking about. I don't.
Because each one's going to have different things, and I don't ask the same questions to everybody. It just naturally comes out. We just start chatting, and that's what happens. But he lives in Wisconsin, and on a farm, he said, and he doesn't have to worry about the noise. He can make all the noise he wants, and I love that.
I love it too. It is cool to talk to drummers, because I didn't get further than a practice pad in middle school band class. So,
and you thought I was going to let you try this kit out.
I'm not going to damage it. This is what I don't.
No touch. Right, you're not going to touch it.
It's freaking rubber. How am I going to damage it? It's rubber. How am I going to?
You're not going to touch it.
You saw me hit the cymbal a couple of times.
No,
with my hand.
I told you don't touch it.
You saw me hit the cymbal. And Zildjian. Somebody was holding Zildjian up, and Zildjian was drumming.
Well, he's my dog. He can, but I don't even let my daughter touch him. So we'll move on.
Oh, it's like a new car. You'll get less precious about it over time. And
no, I won't. You don't know me long enough. How I am with my gear, apparently.
I will say, if anything, I would like you to show me some basic patterns on that thing and let me try them with your supervision.
Nope. I'll show you all you want, but it won't be on the kit. Look, I'll tell you, I've gotten in arguments with my former band and probably other members beyond that tried to force me to let other people play my original reference kit or borrow gear. And I said, absolutely not happening. So never happening. Sorry. That's how stuff gets broken. That's how you lose things. No.
Well, after you set it up, we ran back to Guitar Center for something, and for sticks,
tip sticks, yeah.
And I started wailing on on a little mini electric kit there, but I've never seen one with. And I hope you'll throw a picture up. I sent you some pictures before I left to show the people what you got. It's this beautiful cherry red, wine red, I think it is. Roland
it's cherry,
kit.
Actually, it's cherry red, yeah.
Cherry red. Now, you and Mauro were talking about this. Is it a Roland kit with pearl style
no.
shells? What explain it?
It's acoustic wood shells with electric components. So it's a full electric kit. I think he got a little confused. I was telling him I had a reference kit and then I bought this kit. So I think he got a little confused with the two together. But
right.
No, it's their VAD 706 series. As I don't know if you had paid attention in the interview, I said, I go above and beyond when it comes to drums. I can expand to 4 more pieces, and by golly, my mind's already set to do that. Don't know when. I got to figure out what pieces I can add and all that, but it's very I could take it and I could play it live and just plug it into the PA system, and I can control the volume, the sounds, and everything, and not have a volume issue.
Say you got to perform and fill in for Garth Brooks, okay, with this kit, and you get to Thunder Rolls. Is that beginning sound effect of the thunder? Is that something you can put from the brain, or does that get controlled by the sound guy in the booth?
That's going to get controlled by the sound guy in the booth. They have a specific sound. Now I can import anything into that brain and play it back, but I can only do so much volume adjustment here, and that's kind of a prominent sound that if you're playing this kit and you've got everything kind of set, which is pretty much maxed out, and you've got the auxiliary components maxed out too, it's probably, the drums are probably going to overpower the sound effects. So you want the sound guy up front to adjust all of that and just stick to the actual drums and drum effects yourself.
See, and now another bone to pick with you. Because You are Mr. Hate click tracks. We talk about that in the interview. You are Mr. Hate any kind of track, any kind of enhancement.
No,
but hang on.
I'll clarify that.
Hang on. No. I get to finish my thought. You bought an electric kit. There's nothing analog about what you can't even play that analog. You can play it analog style with the settings proper. And one of your favorite bands that I got to see and you didn't was Rush. Neil Peart, his drum wall is massive. They are what they are because Geddy is a master of the synth. Alex Lifeson can play, I always lisp on his voice. Alex can play his guitar with different wham pedals and wham bars. So where's the line for you?
Well,
knob.
Like I said, I'm the knob. I think I explained this at one of our mini trips or drives, whatever. I am not against enhancements. I'm against I want a human to play it. I don't like the looping and I don't like the artificial sounding loops is what I should say, the hip hop type loops. And I've done it before, you record like a cowbell and a tambourine and you loop that to play along with it. Fine. Sometimes it does make it easier in the studio to do that. But when they're artificial.
That's what sorry, go jump in there. That's what KT Tunstall does live.
Right.
And it's really cool to see.
Yeah, I am fine with that because that just shows that you can be kind of a one-man band. That I am perfectly fine with. I'm fine with click tracks. I don't personally like playing live to them because your energy is channeled to being dictated by that metronome.
Let me ask,
doesn't let you flow.
Don't most live shows that have any sort of production need click tracks? Because we saw Shania. We saw Shania, and there were a couple of times where, and it's ending now, so I can share this and kind of spoil it. It's all LCD screens, like as far as the eye can see, like the big OLED, not LCD, but OLED screens with these amazing graphics. I couldn't even tell where, even the wings were that, like the proscenium arches. I couldn't even tell where one begins and one's ends because it was almost three-dimensional. So that whole thing was video wall. And in order to accomplish that, you were telling me as we were leaving that the drummer needs to play to click tracks so that they can stay in time with the video.
Well, not only that, but almost 100% confident there were backing tracks of non-live performers that they were playing along to. So you have to have that. Yes, I've done it. Each situation calls for a different thing. I can almost guarantee you Reba and Brooks and Dunn's drummer was doing it as well. Carrie's drummer was likely doing it. Most live big production shows like that are going to have it just because of, the artist wants to make sure that things are, perfect. I understand that. I am not anyway dogging that. That's not really for me. I'm more of a rock guy that wants to have that fluid movement. And, if the energy makes the song rush a little bit, just like Mauro said in our chat, then you have that opportunity to do it. And slow songs sometimes, they kind of hold back a little bit, but if you got a click, you've got to work with that mostly instead of being your own click. And that's just where things have gone this year. Now, if I ever got the call that, hey, you got to play to a click, but it's Shania Twain, they need a drummer, am I going to turn it down? No, I'm not stupid. I just don't prefer to play that way. But how is it restricting? Because I would think you could be free. You just got to listen for the timing. I would think you're free to do whatever. You just got to stay to it. Right. It's restrictive in the fact that when you're performing, you have typically more energy than you would in a studio that it's stripped down to maybe a couple of people playing together, and then it's layered. So when you're live, you're feeding off the crowd, you're feeding off the other band members, you're revved up with energy, so things are naturally going to progress in speed. So you might start a song slower than what you intended to, or you might start it faster, and then the singer's I can't get all these words out. I've been in many arguments with that, but you've got production that you're also having to to keep an eye on too. So you have video screens, you have lights that sometimes are programmed or fired during certain ways. Metallica, I almost guarantee you he was likely not playing to a click, but they were probably manually firing those, that fire behind them when it was necessary.
Right.
So it just depends. Now the audience doesn't know anything. They're just seeing a show. They have no idea what's going on. Most are probably not musicians, so they have no clue what goes into the production. And like I said, I've done it. There was a show in Nashville I was a hired gun for. We did 2 rehearsals, and then we did it. And I had a click in one ear. had to play the tracks at the same time. I actually enjoyed it just because it was like a one-off thing. Can't say I would enjoy doing that on a regular basis. But, each gig calls for something different. We all have our preferences. I prefer to just be organic with it, but, it has its place, obviously.
And you prefer no one else to touch your drum kits, which I can respect unless you're not in the room. All right. For the Music Universe podcast, I'm Matt.
I will have a special lock on this room next time you're here. And I'm Buddy. Take care, and be sure to check us out at themusicuniverse.com and hit that like, subscribe, and share button at tmupod.com. Take care. Asshole.